Hey everybody, David here, and in today's video on 30 days to creating better lighting, I'm going to talk about how to get multiple looks from one lighting position, from just one spot on stage. Now, we've covered this at various points throughout our journey here, and we're going to continue to cover it, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about each angle and kind of cover what we've learned and how to get multiple looks from each angle. So when we're talking about front light, we're pretty much, for a lot of the show, you're going to need to park them right on the front light, right? They need to point at the people on stage. But at various points of the show, if you want to make things look different, go ahead. Swing them out, point them to the audience, light the ceiling. Use some of your lights maybe to do that and keep the rest on what we call the money, or whoever's paying you, right? Whoever's on stage. Another great option is, say you've got your front light. Let's just go ahead. We can change colors. Might seem simple, but sometimes you forget to do it with front light. You want to avoid greens most of the time, but other than that, pretty much any color can go depending on the style of the performance or service that you're doing. Okay. Now, let's also talk about gobos, right? Who says you can't use a gobo in front light? Of course you can. Just like you can turn it off at the right moments when music is a little bit less representational, you can creep in a gobo. Like I just kind of brought one in. I could bring it in with the focus real soft. You can barely see the gobo. And then at the right time when I need it, when I want to see that gobo sharp, I can bring it in and see the outlines of the gobo on the performers, see the gobo in the air. So there's really a lot you can do. Of course, popping that prism in and out is going to widen or soften. Overall, there's lots of cool stuff we could do, but let's open those guys back up. So that's some of the things we can do with front light. Now, if we're at our mid stage here, our light in the middle, right now, we've got them pointed here. You can see on the back wall. And that's one of my favorite uses for a mid-stage light. Something that could be a side light or a backlight, but, just like anything else, you don't always have to have a gobo in it, right? With front light, we say, hey, you can have gobos sometimes. And with mid-stage, I say, hey, pull the gobos out of it for a song or two. Make that song gobo-free and see the simplicity that it brings to your show. Like any light, turn them off sometimes, right? These are just ideas that you have. Change the position if you've got moving lights, etc., etc. Backlight, it's the same game, right? You can go ahead, you can pop gobos in, you can take gobos out, you can go ahead and soften the light here. If I can just find my way to the focus as I talk, you can sharpen it. You can go gobo-less and put the frost in, for example, in a spot fixture, and get something that looks a little more wash-like. You can go ahead, you can point them all different ways. You can even, in a pinch, you can use a backlight like a side light and take your backs and bring them, pretty much straight down. And then, let me highlight these guys here. You could bring them pretty much straight down and tilt them one way or another, and be able to light up, the sides of your band with a backlight. And so when you begin to combine these different things together and you really, start to get different looks out of your lights, you're going to find that you have more tools in your toolbox maybe than you thought you had before. So this is my challenge for you today with our challenge here is, don't just change the colors of your lights or the positions or the gobos. And don't box yourself in to having to use certain positions of lights or certain types of lights in certain ways. Try new things. Try putting that funny looking gobo that you never thought would work in your front light. And maybe it doesn't work, but maybe you like it and you find a use for it in your show. Try the unexpected. That's always something I try to mention to people and try to encourage people to do, so that you can find new tricks and new things that look cool that you can then use to keep your show looking fresh all along. In fact, we're going to go deeper into making a light, make all sorts of different looks. And tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about how the process I go through to decide what looks to bring to you on stage, to bring to the audience. And so be sure to subscribe here. I don't want you to miss that. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow where we're going to talk about IFCB and how to apply those letters. It doesn't matter if you know what they are or not. We'll teach you to your lighting. So that'll be about the next week here. Of course, be sure to check out the Patreon as well. Guys, we're off to a pretty good start so far. And I really, I want to encourage you guys to support Learn Stage Lighting so that we can grow and continue to make great lighting and make the best videos available to you. I will see you guys here tomorrow. Thanks.